As he got near his building, his imagination was still in overdrive. He spotted a broad-shouldered man with a tattoo of a spiky black dragon slithering up his left calf, and that brought McLean to mind again. Alex reached into his pocket for his dead friend's silver lighter before remembering it had gone missing over the weekend. That was yet another way his brain let him down. His memory was flawed, and he had no one to blame for it but himself. No more booze, no more weed, no more pills, Alex reminded himself. He'd had a relapse on Friday night, and even though he hadn't dug himself into an opiate-filled hole, the pit he'd found himself in had been bad enough. He'd woken up on the platform of an abandoned subway station in the small hours of Saturday morning, unsure of how he'd gotten there. On his way home, he'd come close to being mugged at Times Square. How am I going to help Emily if I can't keep it together? He thought. The last thing he needed was for the blackouts to start up again. How many hours, how many days had he lost to them when he'd come back from Syria after that last trip? Thinking about his fiancée made it easier for Alex to focus. As he turned onto a street, he caught a sight of a man who reminded him of another friend, Will Cipher. That apparition seemed to be watching Alex's building from across the street, eyes disguised behind a pair of shades and his head tucked into a hoodie. Get a grip. No one is spying on you. Alex shook his head, determined to rein in his chaotic thoughts. The man's phone buzzed and he turned away. Alex crossed the street without another glance at him. His apartment was a fifth-floor walk-up in Hell's Kitchen, inside a red brick building that used to be a warehouse. The super was loitering in the lobby, shining up the rusty metal of the mailboxes. Bobby was built like an old-fashioned icebox, low to the ground but bearing serious weight. He had dark curly hair and a sloping brow, which was usually beaded with sweat. His eyes were small in his round ball of a head, like raisins set on a snowman's face. They popped as he took in Alex's disheveled appearance, and he whistled. You get into a bar fight or something? Too early for that, Alex said. You got blood all over you, you know. Do I? Alex didn't have much use for the super, even though he'd known him for the better part of a decade. The man had taken up the habit of hanging around his apartment since Emily had moved in. It took a lot to motivate Bobby to make his way up to the fifth floor, and the panting sounds announcing his arrival could be heard down the hallway. Blood's a bitch to clean up, man. I'll try not to get any on the floor, Bobby. What's Emily gonna say about this? The super called after him. Alex hiked up the stairs as fast as he could. As he unlocked the door to his apartment, he started to breathe easier. He dropped his keys into a ceramic bowl on the small wooden table next to the door. The light was fading toward sunset, but it streamed in through the south-facing window overlooking West 48th Street. He expected to find his dog lying on the large wooden table in front of the window, lapping up the last of the rays, but Sid wasn't there. He wasn't on the plush red sofa in the center of the room either, or on any of the chairs. The galley kitchen was to the left of the front door, but it was empty. It took Alex a moment to realize what was wrong. The bedroom door was open. It was a hot day, and he'd left the air conditioning on in the living room for Sid. He knew he'd shut the bedroom and bathroom doors to keep the place cool. He set his gym bag on the sofa and stood still, listening. Someone was moving around in the bedroom. He felt a sudden glimmer of hope. Emily had come back. I was getting worried, Alex called out. I thought I had... There were only the sounds of a drawer slamming shut, and then the window screeching in protest against being opened. Alex rushed to the doorway. There was a woman he'd never seen before in his bedroom. Her platinum blonde head was already halfway out the window to the fire escape.